In more Titans TV show news, last week media outlets were reporting that they had information on the series' first villain. And apparently it's someone named the Acolyte, who is probably based on a Young Justice villain who appeared in like 2 issues of the series. The comic book series, not the cartoon. The casting description is described as they were looking for an African American male from his 40s to 50s who wants to kidnap Raven and use her powers for his own good, and he kills her mother Angela. And that's all that that's all the casting description really said. And leading to that, people jump to the conclusion, is negative. I mean, I'm not saying they were wrong, but they assume this must refer to the same Acolyte character who appeared in the Young Justice series. But not that much from what I've been seeing has been said about who this character is and what he did. And since I own those Young Justice issues, I thought I'd expand on him a bit. The Acolyte, if this is the same character, he debuted in a Young Justice storyline in Young Justice 9 and 10 in 1999. And he was running like a racket or some kind of, he commanded a cult of Kali, the Indian or the Hindu goddess. And he wanted to convert or corrupt the minds of young children on a large scale. And he used this show called the Hugga Tugga Thuggies. It was kind of a satire on the Teletubbies TV show that was popular at the time. But, little kids in the comic book, they would watch the Hugga Tugga Thuggies, and there'd be subliminal messages in the TV show that would corrupt their minds and make them want to hurt and kill their parents. And the Acolyte was behind all that. He was trying to get a bunch of kids to murder their parents at the same time, like 1 million kids, and the energy from that, all that bloodshed, would be enough energy for the goddess Kali to come over from the other side to Earth and take over and all this kind of stuff. And that was the plot. And he fought Young Justice, the team of young heroes, teenage heroes at the time. They were kind of like the Teen Titans of that era in DC's period in the comics, because I don't think there was a Teen Titans series being published. So Young Justice was kind of filling that void. If I remember correctly, my memory's kind of vague. But so that was his plot. And his appearance was as like this blue humanoid demon kind of creature. But at the end of that story arc, it was revealed he was a guy who was in makeup, and he took it all off, and he was just a regular human guy, and he was a Caucasian man. No like first or last name was ever given, and it's not even sure what powers he did or didn't have, whether he was using some kind of gadgets, because he was able to like fire some kinds of blasts, whether that was technology or some kind of power from him. And that was basically all we knew about him. He claimed to be some kind of immortal god, but that might have been a ruse, because he was really just this guy who was playing an act. But that apparently may be the character this Titans TV show villain is based on. And that's interesting to me, because the Acolyte is a very minor villain in the DC pantheon. I'm not sure most people even knew he existed until this announcement. I knew he existed, but I had completely forgotten about him until this announcement, because I think that was his only appearance in the comics. So what that says to me is that, of course, the Titans TV show is probably going to use a lot of the Teen Titans major villains and DC's more major villains, but having the Acolyte, a really minor one, be the first one that they fight in their debut episode means they're probably going to use him to lead up to some huge big bad like Brother Blood or Trigon or someone bigger in like Titans history than this minor guy, or someone in Young Justice history, the comics history, since the Young Justice was kind of like a version of the Teen Titans. So there's a lot of bigger Young Justice villains too they could use, like Harm, and there's some others. I forgot about them, but Young Justice, the comic book, is obscure compared to the Teen Titans, so I don't know which Young Justice villains they'll use, but since they're using the Acolyte, they could use a lot of them. The Titans TV series is set to debut on DC's digital-only service in 2018, web only. No premiere date has been given, but they're casting right now, and they're going to start filming pretty soon, I'm sure, after they get all these actors in a row. And so far, the people who've been cast are Anna Diop as Starfire, Britton Thwaites as Nightwing, Tegan Croft as Raven, and no one has been picked yet to play Beast Boy, at least as recent as this taping. By the time I put this episode up, maybe they've hired somebody, but as of now, no one has been hired to play Beast Boy. And those are the main Titans members. I don't know if there's more coming, but those are the ones that we know of so far. And then there's Hawk and Dove, which are going to be recurring characters, and Hawk is going to be played by Alan Ritchson and Dove by Minka Kelly. And so far, there hasn't been anyone cast or hired that we know to play the Acolyte himself. We just have a casting announcement. And then there's a casting call out too for Raven's mother, Angela, who is apparently going to be murdered by the Acolyte in the first episode. So she might not, whoever that actress is, she might not be getting much screen time over the series duration. But a paycheck's a paycheck, right? Young Justice ran from, I think, 1998 to 2003, the comic in DC Comics. I know it's also a very popular animated show, which I think is loosely based on the Young Justice comic. I haven't seen Young Justice, the animated TV show. I know, isn't that a travesty? As huge of a DC fan as I am, people are always surprised when I tell them I've never seen that cartoon. I gotta watch it. But I did read the comic, with the source material, so I read the root. But anyways, Young Justice starred Robin, Tim Drake's Robin, Impulse Bart Allen, Superboy, the Con-El Superboy, Wonder Girl, Cassie Sandsmark, Arrowette, Sissy King Jones, and there were other members like Empress. I forgot Empress's real name. Secret. I forgot Secret's real name too. But there were multiple Lagoon Boy. There were a lot of members who were in Young Justice. It was written by Peter David, a very well-known and talented comic book writer, and he's written for movies and TV shows too. But I think he's most famous for his comic book work, and he's done animation. And it was kind of a silly series. It was very good, but the tone of it was tongue-in-cheek. I think Peter David had a lot of fun with it. Things weren't taken too seriously. As you've just maybe gathered, the storyline that I mentioned the Acolyte was in was about, a television program called the Hugga Tugga Thuggies, which was a satire, a parody of the Teletubbies. And so there were a lot of things throughout Young Justice that were silly and fun. And I think he did that because it was a comic book series about a bunch of little kids, superheroes. Even though the Teen Titans are teenagers, Young Justice, I think, were even younger. And they were drawn younger than teenagers, maybe 13, 12 sometimes. I think the oldest member of Young Justice was 15 or 16, and everybody else was younger than that. So Young Justice, with main characters that young, I feel that the writer, wanted to make it kind of silly and fun, almost like a kid's show in printed comic book form. At least that's my take, as someone who read Young Justice throughout its entire run. That's the way I always thought of Young Justice as I read it. They would definitely cover some serious stuff at times, mind you, but I felt that a lot of times they were also pretty silly, intentionally so. And we'll see as the Titans TV show develops and they're hiring more people and announcing, other more characters, casting calls for more characters to be on the show. We'll see how it's shaping up. I'm pretty excited. I'm definitely going to watch it. I've been covering it the last, month on this channel, and I just wanted to give you that quick update. If you like this video and want to see me make more videos about DC TV shows and movies and comic books and all that cool stuff, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.